They fired me before I even got hired. Yeah, so it started all in California. And then I ended up going to Dubai, placing like high luxury, 10 million plus mortgages.
Hello again, and thanks for joining us on another edition of CMP TV. I'm Fergal McAlinden. I'm the editor here at Canadian Mortgage Professional. We recently released our list of the top 75 brokers in Canada, revealing the brokers across the country who achieved the most impressive volume over the past 12 months. Some of the biggest names in the industry were on that list. Among them was Danny Ibrahim of keyRate Mortgage in Ottawa. He's joining us today to discuss some of the reasons behind his success and his advice for newer brokers trying to break in. So Danny, thanks for joining us today. How are things?
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations to you on the award, which I know is not the first time you've been top 75. First of all, before we get into it, how does it feel to be on that list?
It feels great, actually. I mean, why wouldn't I not want to be on that list? I mean, I'm very happy, very grateful to my clients, my team especially, that helped me grow, and to the other members of the 75 that knocked me off the list of being one of the top. I would love to meet them. They motivate me. I'm very grateful, very happy to be top 75 broker.
Well, it's great to have you here today. I mean, one of the things that really jumps out about you, Danny, is your experience across a lot of different countries. You don't have kind of a linear mortgage journey that starts in Canada, right? So I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, tell us a little bit about your mortgage journey, how it began, and kind of how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, so it started all in California. So we still do business in California.
Sure.
And then I ended up going to Dubai, placing like high luxury mortgages, 10 million plus, which if I actually took those numbers and put them all with CMP, maybe I would be number one, because I still travel there and once every quarter, and then look at placing mortgages in Dubai and California. But it has been an incredible journey. I mean, you get to travel, you get to have fun, you get to meet new people, interact in different perspectives of the mortgage industry and how everybody looks at different regulations in the mortgage industry. And you're up to date on the economics of the world. So when you're traveling out to Dubai, or when you're going to the States or coming back to Canada, I'm placing mortgages literally everywhere. And it's fun.
Interesting, okay. So tell me what year you made that switch into the Canadian mortgage world.
That was in 2011, I believe, 2011 when I started off. I started off at the bank first. Actually, no one wanted to hire me. It was pretty incredible. I was like top producer in Dubai and California. I come to little Ottawa. There was a small mortgage broker shop that, they had hardwood floors there that were like creaking, and a small little house. I was like, I can't believe I'm in a mortgage shop. This is like some sort of mortgage company. And they fired me before I even got hired, because they said I had no experience inside of Ottawa. I went to the bank. They're like, I have no experience inside of a bank as well. So anyways, I kept on pushing forward. It took me about maybe 6 months until I got eventually a job at a bank as a mortgage officer. And I became top producer within a year and a half, 2 years. I worked with so many real estate agents. My book of business grew dramatically from there. And I just started meeting more people in Vancouver, LinkedIn, using my network to continue growing. If I get a client, I would ask them for their friends and families, or their kids that are going to get married and buy a house. I kept on growing that whole network that way. It was pretty amazing. Throughout that journey, I opened up keyRate in 2017. And so next year would be our 10-year anniversary. And we've been doing exceptionally well. The team grew, our internal officers grew within the company, our compliance grew. We have a big, heavy focus on right now compliance inside the office, especially with the new regulations that are coming out, AML and suitability assessments for borrowers. That's a big emphasis. So we have like maybe a 6-person team right now handling all that internally for about 64 brokers.
Let me ask you in a sec just about growing your book of business, because that's always such a big issue for newer brokers and agents. Just on that regulatory and compliance issue, it's been a big topic in the industry over the past maybe 2 or 3 years. Where do you stand on some of the new rules that have come in?
FSRA is doing a good job, I believe. I don't think they're doing a good job in hiring more people internally inside of FSRA. I think they need a little bit more training and understanding how the brokers actually, the dynamics of the broker, how they work and function. Sure. So you can't just bring out a rule and just throw it back out there to the marketplace and say, everybody adapt right away. You can't do that. So there has to be a process by training these brokers, making them understand that there's a portal system that you could go in FSRA's website and looking at, okay, these are the new regulations for AML. These are the new regulations for suitability assessments. These are the new regulations for interacting with the client to do facial recognition and ID verification for one another. Those fundamental points are the most important, and that framework, the way they changed it, it was almost rapid. They gave grace periods for different principal brokers to adapt to that change and move forward. It's protecting our guidelines, it's protecting the broker channel, it's protecting our economy. The more implementation that you could do as far as like a principal broker in the brokerage to have your brokers understand what it means to do this with your clients, then everybody would adapt. All brokerages, all agents will adapt to it, and eventually to a client, it's just a norm. And right now, probably it isn't a norm for them, and there's like pushback on paperwork because it's a lot of paperwork. For sure. It'll become a norm. Everybody will have to fill out these forms. Everybody would have to adapt to it and move forward with it.
So maybe a little bit of a teething problems at the start, I should say, for brokers dealing with those regulations, but should kind of smooth out as the years go on.
When you slap that many documents in front of a broker and say, hey, you got to get all your clients to do this immediately, there's pushback, obviously. But with training, the right training and adaptability, they'll work it through. It's fine.
All right. Well, we hope so. You mentioned growing your book of business. Obviously, that's a massive part of becoming a top 75 broker, becoming one of the most successful brokers in Canada. But we all know that it's easier said than done. You know, you don't just snap your fingers and go out. And for newer agents and for brokers, it's such a big deal. You mentioned some of the methods that you use to grow that book, but how difficult was that? And I mean, if you had any, I guess, advice for newer brokers on how to do it, what would you say?
It's extremely difficult to start it off at the very beginning. But once you start developing the relationships, those long-term relationships with real estate agents, lawyers, accountants, any type of third party that you could find to grow that book of business, the most fundamental part when you become a top 75, I believe, you have to have financial strength as a broker. That means you shouldn't be afraid to take a bill or take out a client that could probably get you 10 more deals and go out for a beautiful dinner together. You can't be afraid to spend.
Sure.
So in order to do more business, you have to spend. So I would say you need the financial stability first in order to grow your book of business. 2, you have to adapt in the marketplace. If you cannot adapt to the marketplace where there's competition, then you have to be the competitor, not the competition. What do I mean by that? Being the competitor, you have to take deals and not be afraid to discount your deals. If somebody is making 100 basis points on a deal, this is for the broker world, I would rather take the deal away from that other broker at 60 basis points. Why? I'm still getting the deal. I'm getting my volume bonus. I still inherited a client. It's both our clients, but I inherited the client. I inherited the deal, and now it's part of my book of business. So I want to continue growing that book of business, even though it costs me zero, or it doesn't cost me zero, but I don't make any money on a deal.
Sure.
I'm okay with that. But I inherited an amazing client that eventually in the future, I'll make something out of it. So that's how you continue to grow your book of business. Adaptability, financial strength, literally looking at the characteristic of every single individual with a long-term relationship that you would have with those clients moving forward. It's the way I grew my book of business.
Interesting. You know, it's interesting too whenever you mention the relationship aspect of it, because we know that whenever, you know, say the start of the 2020s, whenever the pandemic broke and the Bank of Canada starts to just plunge rates and people have pent up savings, they jump into the market. It's just not a free for all, but you know, there's just way more purchase activity going on. Everyone's looking for a mortgage.
Fear of missing out. Everybody had a fear of missing out back then, right?
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to mention. Like, it's just an interesting dynamic that we're in right now where it seems like it's gone from like maybe more transaction based. Not that it was, every broker was that way, but it's more transaction based. And now all of a sudden the relationships are just so important. So like when it comes to that shift over the past few years, and especially with interest rates going up and renewal pain and all that stuff, what's changed for you? Or have you adapted your business at all?
Yeah, I did. So not just that, I just had to keep on expanding. So I had to get more referral sources.
Sure.
I couldn't just stick with the 5 referral, 10 referral sources that you have. You have to keep on expanding and acquiring new referral sources that other brokers could have had or brokerages could have had that we would annex that's the competition portion of it.
Sure.
So no hard feelings, but this is business in the end. So if I'm going to go over and take another broker's book of business, I am going to do that. I'm not going to say it's a cutthroat business. It's not. But yeah, if you could offer that better service versus somebody else, I'm going to do that all day long. I'm going to take that business. I'm not going to be, oh, hey, broker, no, that's your business. I can't step foot in there. No, I'm pretty aggressive. So yeah, I'll go in there, step in, and take the business.
Okay.
So that's how you expand your book of business, that way, very slowly.
It takes a certain mindset, I'm guessing.
Definitely.
Ultra competitive, I guess some would call it.
You have to, yeah. Like I said, I want to learn from the better brokers than me that hit that list.
Sure.
So what are they doing differently? I like to adapt to that as well, because if you could knock me off of the top 75, it's an achievement. It's a compliment.
What do you, in terms of trends coming down the line over the next couple of years? We know, I mean, no one's really expecting the market to just bounce back. We're not going to see rates that low again anytime soon. What are your thoughts there on some of those trends? Do you think that's going to continue, that kind of hyper-aggressive approach?
No, because I think just technology would probably kill that approach. And we were talking off the record a little bit about AI and that technology with AI. I think there's a lot of variables that are happening. So I think technology would eventually take over that approach of how strong you are inside the marketplace with the referral sources. But again, it's ultimately the client's decision to decide where they want to go. And to do that type of research on the internet, or to even get some sort of AI tool that would tell them this is probably the best person to deal with in the mortgage business,
Sure.
It would probably be an AI drone or bot that would tell you exactly how to get the best deal possible in the business right now.
Okay.
In the next couple of years, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really interesting few years for the market, and like you mentioned, so you're nearing 15 years, is that right? In
Total, about 21 years.
21 years, okay.
21. Yeah.
So that obviously takes an experience across a lot of different markets. You mentioned California, yeah, obviously Canada too. Curious to know, I mean, is there anything that you have drawn from the other markets that you're using in Canada at the minute? I mean, I'm guessing you'd love some of those, massive mortgages that you're getting out in Dubai, but yeah, what are some of the...
In the U.S., there's they're implementing 50-year mortgages very shortly.
Yeah, that's right.
You heard about that? So that's pretty cool. I, quite personally, the word mortgage means to your death.
Sure.
Mortgage, you're going to be in the morgue by the time you pay off your debt. So I really think you should use this as a financial tool. It's almost like a rental property. You're not going to really pay off the mortgage unless you're putting big chunks down, 10, 20% a year. I think they should implement 100-year mortgages here in Canada. Imagine a 100-year mortgage. It's still the property that you're going to be living in. You could transfer it over. It's pretty much like you're paying interest only. It's a rental property. If you want to pay it off, you could decide to pay it off. But it reduces your mortgage payments dramatically, no matter what the rate is or no matter what the Bank of Canada would do. I think there's a clause or there's a law inside the Land Registry Department here in Canada that I think every property is 99 years of ownership, because I believe the Crown or the monarchy still owns that piece of land no matter what. Even though you pay it off, that's why we still pay property taxes on it.
Sure.
So if they implemented something like a 100-year mortgage, I think that would be pretty cool. If we could find some product like that, somebody decides, OSFI decides, I'm going to create a 100-year mortgage plan for maybe first-time home buyers that are 20 years old. Hey, that would work out, but I don't think it would actually work out for individuals that are like in their 70s.
Sure.
Or maybe 50s. But yeah, I think that would be for first-time home buyers. A 100-year mortgage would be a pretty cool idea to use and increase more productivity and more clients.
What do you make of the argument, say, that those longer amortizations are kind of stretching out the debt load, I guess, leaving borrowers in more debt for longer? That was a criticism of like maybe the 30-year.
There is. Yeah. Even 40-year amortizations, you see it. But hey, if you're treating it as an investment, you have the savings that you could take in place, earn a good percentage, whether it be RSPs or whatever the case is, and take that money, and then you can put it towards your principal balance. No one's stopping anybody from doing that. But it just gives a longer drag on the mortgage for sure. But if you have the proper advice from a mortgage broker, preferably somebody from keyRate, they'll tell you directly, this is exactly how much you have to keep on putting on a yearly basis in order to try to pay off your house in 10 years. So it doesn't matter what type of amortization you have. The principal balance is the most important. How can I drop that off quickly? How much more money do I have to make that happen? But if you're getting a smaller payment, it allows you to have bigger savings to put more down onto the principal. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way I believe a lot of brokers look at it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different regulatory plans that are on the way, and I mean, we all know affordability is just massively stretched at the minute. So we'll see what the government rolls out. Anything else on the regulatory side that you would like to see in place, or that you think is in place right now that shouldn't be?
Yeah, I do. I want to see like the regulatory create a stronger arm for fraud. It's been a topic that I've been talking to everybody about. If you're doing fraud, get out of the business. We just need some sort of more of a regulatory framework inside of FSRA that would punish more fiercely these type of brokers that are committing this type of acts. If we could see that, and I believe more like an agency that could actually protect the consumers in that scope, that's what I'd like to see more of FSRA doing.
It's been interesting this year. I mean, we have seen a lot of FSRA cracking down on unlicensed activity, and it's always one that I hear is just good brokers in the industry and good agents want to see them doing more, because this type of stuff is harming the good actors, kind
Definitely.
of throwing everybody in with the bad bunch.
Yeah, it has been, but yeah, if they could create something a little bit, I know they could do more, definitely, but the resources are limited in that department. If they focus more on less CPAs and more of an enforcement team that would actually look at those type of brokers, that would be pretty active on their part to eliminate those type of agents or brokers out of the business.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. One thing that I'm always really interested, Danny, in talking to agents, brokers about, especially with a big book of business and a lot coming in the door, work-life balance. How is it for you? We heard all the stories in the past, especially during COVID, about just 100-hour weeks and crazy answering calls at weekends, which I know is still the case, but have you managed to achieve a kind of a balance?
It's very simple. Once you get a great team behind you, and my top producing agents as well, if I need to go on vacation for 2 weeks, there's somebody else handling my book of business.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to give it to them because they're as capable as me to handle it. So work-life balance has been difficult to get to that point.
Sure.
But once you get to that point, and then you could trust somebody else within the brokerage to handle your book of business, yeah, you're flying. So I have 4 boys, beautiful wife, and I work all the time, but I have to make time to go on vacations. I have to make time to take time for myself and relax. So that work-life balance is very important for me. But being able to travel to Dubai and go to the United States, California, do mortgages there too, it's almost like a vacation as well. Even dealing with clients in Canada, it's a vacation. We get to go out, we get to have fun, we get to enjoy ourselves, we get to travel. One of those. Where's CMP going this year for? Is it Toronto? You guys doing?
We just had our summit in Vancouver, and we're heading to Toronto in September. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I look forward to those. Sure. So I didn't make the Vancouver one, but hopefully
nice. We'll
next
see you
year.
in Toronto.
Yeah, we'll see you in Toronto, or maybe in Vancouver. Maybe you guys should do it in Singapore.
Well, hey, look, we've got mortgage verticals across the world, right?
Yeah.
We have UK, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. So who knows? Singapore could be next.
Yeah, for the Canadians, go out there and have a good time. That's a work-life balance. So you get to enjoy it within the industry with those networkings that we do. So we have a good time.
For sure. So when it comes to building that team, that's easier said than done as well. Getting the right people around you. Yeah.
Yeah,
How does that go?
It's so difficult. That is probably my biggest challenge.
Sure.
Is finding the right brokers to join. There's some brokers that have been in the industry for well over 12 years that think about or contemplate joining me.
Right.
But their structures of the way they do business is completely different than the way I do business. That's why the dynamics sometimes don't work out. So to get those specific brokers to come in and join you and keep on growing the team has been the most challenging venture that I had. I like to say this. I do applaud all the other brokerages that just hire anybody. We don't do that. We have strict guidelines with entrance exams and knowing the product before you even join. I think that's been the most challenging for us, would be definitely acquiring or getting new agents to come inside the brokerage that we find suitable to work with us.
Okay, so that's a good lead into my last question, which is green flags, like suitability for whenever you're looking at a new agent or broker. Because a lot, obviously, younger agents and brokers are looking at not saying that you're not young, but are looking at the top 75 and they're saying, I want to be there. That's the level that I want to reach.
Yeah, good for them. They could do it.
What's your main advice for them, and what are the green flags whenever you're hiring that you're looking out for?
If you're coming into the mortgage business, it has to be your full-time job. You can't have 3 part-time jobs and expect just to do mortgage brokering. I think we talked about this a long time ago. I lost the deal to an Uber driver. I don't know how. It was one of my friends, actually. He was drunk going back home in an Uber, and the Uber said that he does mortgages. So he called him up and he was giving him a better rate than what I was.
What year was this?
It was like last year, a year or two, 2024. And I laughed about it. That was the last time I lost a deal to an Uber driver, because then I had to restructure the way I'm doing business. You know what, FSRA, what they should do, actually, I wish they could just also increase that licensing fee from $900, I think it's $941, right, to $2,500. It quite eliminates some of those brokers that don't take the business seriously, just want to come in and think they could be a top 75 broker.
Sure. Increase the bar a little bit.
Increase the bar.
Raise the bar, rather. It sounds kind of facetious, but I hear that all the time from top brokers. If you go to conferences, if you go wherever, they'll say like the bar is low when it comes to it.
Yeah, I think us as like principal brokers, what we should do, I mean, I talk to a lot of other principal brokers, and we sometimes have the same philosophy. Those new agents that are starting off, don't give them, the highest commission splits of the brokerage. Give them a standardized commission split. Start them off somewhere. Normalize them. Humble them at the very beginning, showing them that, yes, this is a very lucrative business to get into, but you got to start from somewhere. And you either start all the way in the bottom and then come up to the top. Never think that you could start from the top automatically. That just doesn't exist.
For sure. Okay. All right. Well, a sobering message for a lot, but we'll see how it all goes in the next few years. It's going to be an interesting time. Danny, anything else you wanted to mention before we wrap up?
Congratulations to all the top 75 brokers and whoever wants to reach out at any moment of time. I'm always available.
Well, congrats again.
Thank you.
And we'll talk soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.